the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 324 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, I would ask you how you're doing, but I think this is the fourth time we've done this.
Mercifully. Yeah, mercifully, we finally got it.
Never had so much trouble getting a podcast started ever.
Well, I didn't know what I was going to talk about to start the podcast, but now I know. Don't let your 3-year-old download things on the Kindle tablet. Jeez, man.
Yeah.
I was storming through the house, reset the internet. Oh, wow. Anyway, we're here.
Yeah.
Things are good. Podcast is ready to roll.
Ready to roll.
Yep.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah, I don't even know where to go from here. I guess we can just get right into the race, huh?
Let's talk racing, man. That'll make me feel better. Good Lord.
Well, I mean, it was a good race to talk about. I'll tell you what, James. Let's put it this way. If NASCAR would have said that Kyle Larson does not get a waiver, has to start over from scratch to qualify for the playoffs, guess what? He just did.
He's back in. Look at that.
Kyle Larson gets a win on the road course at Sonoma. I mean, great win for him. It cycled the right way for him, but he was fast all day. Only led 19 laps, but he was there.
Yeah. I mean, being in the right position, and
it's all strategy, but strategy actually meant something this time. Like, we didn't know for sure what the right strategy was going to be because we had a million cautions.
Yeah. And Cliff Daniels, man, he just knows what buttons to push. I mean, there's something to be said, and you're seeing it a lot more in sports, kind of across the board. But when you've got a team that's been together for a while, like this team has, you just start to, these types of things just start to happen. And Cliff Daniels pitted that car at the right time. There were 8 cars on the strategy, but you give Kyle Larson the ball, and it's like, all right, man, it's all you. You just got to go earn it now. And man, did he ever earn it. It was awesome. Awesome to watch because he carved him up.
Right. Yeah. It was a good run for him. Overall, I mean, heck of a race at Sonoma. We had 8 cautions for 22 laps. Started early with Denny Hamlin blowing one up on lap 4. Just grenading one. That doesn't happen very often anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
Toyota's with engine issues and mechanical issues lately. What's up with that?
Yeah, Chris Bell last week. Denny Hamlin at Sonoma. Something to keep an eye on, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they got nothing to lose.
No, if you're gonna be trying stuff, this is the time of year to try it.
And I don't know if that's even what's going on. I didn't listen to Action's Detrimental, but I'm wondering. Wondering if they are maybe trying something with some of their cars, but that's you get all the way out to wine country, you fly out, and you get 2 laps in, and your day's over. You're back home before the race is done. So, that's tough.
Right. I saw a meme. It was a Homer Simpson meme, where Homer comes in, basically walks in the door, immediately does a circle and walks back out the door. That was Denny's weekend at Sonoma.
Yeah. Nobody liked I made one crack on Twitter about Denny got beat by everyone's favorite driver. Nobody liked that.
That's a good one.
I also wanted to ask if Denny got a waiver for that. But I didn't do that because I don't want to overwork. We've had enough waiver talk. So.
Right.
But yeah, you feel like you should probably needs a waiver for that. Not even showing up. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. He ran he run 2 or 3 more laps more than Larson did at Charlotte. So.
Right. Yeah.
I get. Yeah.
Definitely qualifies. I mentioned lots of cautions. We had a lot of incidents, especially early in this race. New asphalt, I think, to blame, James. I mean, the Xfinity race had its share of things too. Of course, there were only 4 cautions in that one, so only 2 extras. But both races were better than I think we've seen lately at Sonoma, right?
The new, I would add too, the new barrier in turn 11. Definitely added a wrinkle to a couple of guys' day.
Well, Josh Berry's.
Josh Berry. Well, yeah, well, yeah,
and about
that
6 other cars.
the brakes. Yeah. Didn't Ty Gibbs got in? No, Ty Gibbs got into oil, I think, or
Yeah.
he clipped the inside. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he just
got
clipped the
inside.
inside. Yeah, and
Yeah.
apparently Kyle Busch did that too, but didn't break a front wheel off.
Yeah, that wall seems to be a little more sturdy than I thought it was going to be. It held up all weekend.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to see everybody whining about it. I thought it was good. And James, you know what was interesting to me? Like I'm still fascinated. I know this is the third year with this car now, but watching how fast they drive into that turn.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you watch the Xfinity race the day before, and you're hitting the brakes with an Xfinity car like back where the where the straightaway starts.
yeah.
And the Cup cars, man, they're powering in there and they're not hitting the brakes till they start to turn. It's insane.
Well, you remember the year when Tony Stewart's last win,
Yeah.
coming into turn 11, Denny Hamlin completely blew that corner, and a lot of people they were doing he gave it to him.
Right.
I remember that conversation, but man, you can blow that corner so easily, especially as hard as guys are charging in there.
Yeah.
You know, it's not it's one of the tougher corners on the circuit. Now you've got that inside wall that's a lot less forgiving than the tires, the tire barriers used to be. But I think Clint Boyer or Kevin Harvick, they said they liked the wall better than the barrier though, because I think Harvick was saying that the tires would actually suck you in a little bit and kind of hold on to the car.
Gotcha.
When they got into them. So, but I don't know, man, losing a front tire just by hitting the inside safer barrier is tough. So
Well, don't do that.
but yeah, don't do that. Don't hit the wall.
I mean, honestly,
Keep your car off the wall.
the biggest problem with it is that it's not round. So because it
Yes.
juts out and it has square edges, because it's a temporary
jagged.
wall, you can't put a permanent wall there because they do other things there. I mean, I guess you could probably they install safer barriers and pull them back out. They bolt them into the track, so they probably could do something. But I don't think it's needed. I think it was good the way it was.
I think it was fine. We got through it.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting change. It was predicted earlier in the week that there would be some major issue as a result of it, and we saw it. I mean, I think the Josh Berry thing would have been a crash anyway, but he likely would have, spun towards the center and not taken a bunch of cars with him. So, but hey, that's what we want. We want it to be tough. We don't want it to be easy.
Eric, listen,
so.
man, you and I grew up racing NASCAR racing and NASCAR Thunder.
Yeah, it was always there.
That wall's been there for 25 years.
Yep.
It's just been in there for video games. So
Yeah.
now it's the real life.
Yep. Exactly.
We can handle it.
Exactly. What'd you think of the race overall, James? I personally think that this may have been, it's one of two of the best races we've had on a road course in the next gen era, in my opinion. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Sonoma delivers a lot, and I'm so
It
glad that they
hasn't
went
lately,
back.
though.
I know, but they've gone back to the NASCAR layout. They got rid of the short chute or whatever the heck that thing was called.
The carousel. The carousel.
Carousel. Thank
Yes.
you. Jeez, I lost.
The short
words
chute
there,
is
but-
what they have. The carousel
Yeah,
is what
the
they
short
got
shoes
rid
that
of.
they have now. Yes, thank you for correcting my I'm not very good at English. So, but no, it's just more racy. The passing zones are more aggressive, and I think the repave had something to do with it too. I mean, it was grippy. So,
Well, it was grippy until it wasn't. As soon as I got off
yeah.
the track, it wasn't anymore. And
yeah, it got a little dirty.
how about Austin
cars-
Cindric, man? He about flipped.
He did. Yeah, he's lucky he didn't. A little bit faster, I think he would have. But yeah, it definitely was a little more chaotic. And they finally, I think the drivers settled in. But you would think like we had a normal practice session this weekend, and I thought for sure they would come in a little bit more settled down. But they were definitely aggressive throughout the race.
Yeah.
Restarts were extremely aggressive, and we couldn't get guys clear at the start of the race. So
What do you think we're going to see? I know it's not the same type of track at all, but what do you think we're going to see when we go to Watkins Glen in the playoffs this year?
that's going to be a lot of fun.
Because you're going to amp up the necessity to push the envelope. And that track's
Well,
not
the bus
forgiving either.
The bus stop's going to be...
Oh, that's a ramp now.
That's going to be must-see. Yeah, bus stop's going to be must-see. And then the last couple corners there can get really aggressive too.
Yeah.
No, I think Watkins Glen's going to be a really good race. I mean, there's a part of me... We have so many road courses now. I think newer fans are kind of numb to it, but when we go to Sonoma and Watkins Glen, like that to me is NASCAR road course racing. So, years ago, I mean, it was Sears Point, right? And Infineon, it's gone through a couple of iterations, but it's always been kind of a rough racetrack. A little bit dirty, a little bit grimy. You got to use the bumper from time to time. Turn 11 can get really aggressive. This just kind of felt like a throwback Sonoma to me.
Yeah.
To what we used to get a little. I mean, this was a little bit more wild, but definitely felt like a Sonoma, that we're used to. And I'm for one, I'm all for it. I thought for sure the stages were going to be, I'm a little pessimistic about the stages with road course racing and how those strategies play out. But
I didn't even think about it in this race.
Yeah, it worked out well because we were going to have them regardless.
Right.
The cautions were piling up. So
yeah.
Guys who had strategy, who had fast cars got taken out. Joey Logano is a prime example. That was a really fast race car, and they tried to get the strategy going, which wasn't a bad call, but
bit them right away too.
Exactly. You get stuck back there in the circus and, you get bit. So, it's going to happen from time to time. William Byron, we know he's fast, but he had a flat tire and he got stuck back there and he got caught in the riffraff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's funny. I kind of, the one thing I think we missed, we'll talk about him in a little bit, but SVG not being in this race, it would have been a little bit more fun probably too.
Which they explained on Fox too, that he did the wheel force test there, so he wasn't eligible to race in the Cup race because of that.
I didn't know that. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Yep. It's because of the repave. They wouldn't allow, I guess they wouldn't allow you to run. I don't know. Anyway, because he tested there, because he did the wheel force, they wouldn't let him race the Cup race. So.
Yep. I gotcha.
Better than, I know you're going to cringe when I say this, but better than last year's Chicago street course? Because I think, to me, I think that's the other best next gen road course race. I know you don't like the place, but the race was good.
I know. Yeah, I mean the finish was. I mean the driving was top notch.
It was good too because we had the rain and all that. We had that mix. It was interesting last year.
Yeah, I love watching drivers go to work, and probably none more so than when Kyle Larson does his.
Of course, you with Kyle Larson.
I mean, but
I know,
but yeah.
I know. Are you wearing? Are you wearing your Kyle Larson hat right now?
No hat today. Okay. No hat today. But no, I think we can all agree on that, though, right? We like seeing drivers work.
You sit here and praise Kyle Larson on this show. You praise Tony Stewart on this show, and I'm going to sit here and talk about how much Kyle Busch irritates me in a minute. So
that's okay. No, yeah, but what I guess the point I was getting to though was, there was a point in the race, obviously late in the race, it was Buescher, it was Truex, and then Larson was working his way through the field, and kudos to McDowell and Allmendinger. Like they were on older tires and just trying to hold him off and actually passed him back. And I mean, really made him work. And then, obviously he carved his way through eventually, but that was, that was kind of a little bit sketchy because McDowell was not going to let him go. And, hindsight being what it is, knowing what we know with the end of the race, McDowell technically was fighting for the race win there.
Right.
So it just goes to show you how important those positions end up being towards the end of the race when you've got, everybody, everybody's got enough fuel. Well, everybody's got enough fuel and tires to get to the finish. Maybe not everybody, but you know what I mean? Like, those positions, man, you got to put yourself in the right position. And we saw that at Gateway when, Blaney had that race won, but things happen. You're right there. And same thing with Michael McDowell. He ends up second place. So you got to fight.
James, who never complains about not being able to pass in the next gen car?
Who's that?
Kyle Larson. Because he always seems to be able to pass people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a lot easier if you've got the freshest tires, right?
Well, that helps. I mean, it also helps that you're a really good wheelman and also pretty good at this road course racing thing.
Yeah, he is pretty good at. Well, he's pretty good at pretty much everything we do.
It's funny that we sit here and everybody wants to give the crown to like Chase Elliott or whoever else on road course racing, but Kyle Larson's been pretty spectacular on road courses.
Yeah, there's a handful of guys with the next gen car that you think of right off the top of your head, and it's Larson, it's Reddick, it's Byron.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott, I think, is still in that conversation, but yeah, those guys are.
Yeah, he finished fourth Sunday. I mean, that's a good run for Chase.
Chase has been pretty solid.
He's on the upswing right now for sure.
Yeah, he's had a good season so far, overall. So
it's been a lot better this year than last.
Yeah. And what's funny too is Chris Buescher after qualifying, and he like I was not even. I'm like, man, Chris Buescher. I don't think he's gonna have it today, but he's a great road course racer, and sure enough, there he was.
I know. I did the same thing. I'm like, he's my pick last week, and then he just does nothing in the first stage. I'm like, oh boy, yeah, that was a terrible pick. I look at the pylon, and he's not even on the pylon on the and then all of a sudden he wins the second stage, and he's finishes third. I mean, yeah.
A great day. He's a great road course racer. He's got a good grasp on it. I mean, that's Chris Buescher stacking up good finishes still. I mean, I know he's trying to get a win here this year, but it's what you got to do. You want to be in the playoff hunt like that. So
yeah, definitely. We had some controversy on the last lap.
Where do you want to start with this? Because there's a lot of last lap controversy.
Yeah, well, let's talk about. Well, I didn't see a lot of it because I watched the race delayed because I had to work on Sunday, and I was honestly at the end of the race kind of just skipping, trying to like get to the end before I fell asleep. And so I pretty much jumped from the white flag to Larson crossing the finish line. So I didn't see any of the last lap. So that's you messaged the next day, like commenting on the Kyle Busch Ross Chastain thing. And I'm like, what Kyle Busch Ross Chastain thing? And it's like, it happened on the last lap. It was right there on the broadcast. But so anyway, so I've gone back and watched the replay on this. And then if there's more stuff on the last lap, then you'll have to help me because I don't know what it was. Okay. But Ross Chastain plows through Kyle Busch.
That's a way to describe it.
Yeah, heading into the short chute, pretty much acts like Kyle's not there.
I tweeted out he was a bug on Ross's windshield.
Yeah,
Ross just absolutely blew him up.
Yeah,
and just kept going.
And then proceeded to kind of act like he didn't know why somebody thought he'd be upset about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, and I tweeted this too, but I hate the way the man drives, but God, did I miss him getting in somebody else's crap.
Right? I'm with you, man. I'm for this.
It's hilarious, man.
They call on BBC, they call it the Ross Chastain Don't Give an F Tour, and I love it.
He has not changed one
bit.
I don't, nobody will ever convince me otherwise.
You know why? He doesn't even know he's doing it.
It's probably it.
He really doesn't know.
I called him our idiot king. I said our idiot king is back. I mean, that's probably the best way I can describe it.
He's good for the sport. So good.
Well, his cars are. I mean, he's been terrible pretty much. I mean, not terrible. I mean, he's in the playoff hunt, but he's been quiet. Let's just say.
Well, it's not like Trackhouse has been lighting the world on fire. Yeah, Suarez has his win, and he's running well a couple times, but they're not.
Well, and he ticked off his teammate at the end of stage 2, I believe. So, and then, after he dumped Kyle, Chase Elliott didn't care. Went into turn 11 and blew him up and went around him. I was like, holy cow, that was an exciting last lap. I mean, that was vintage 2022 Ross Chastain right there.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that guy in a hot second. It's really fun to get annoyed, but I wasn't even annoyed because it was so hilarious. And then after it happens, Kyle Busch limps across the line. I think he actually ended up running out of fuel right towards the finish. And I'm thinking, oh boy, here we go. Kyle's had 2 weeks in a row. Somebody's gotten him messed up. He's gonna be mad. Plus the Stenhouse thing, like it's all piling up. He's mad. He's gonna go after him. Nope, he just left. Just walked out.
Well, he did talk to reporters on pit road though, and made a comment on pit road that something about racing with somebody. I forget who he was talking about racing with, but they raced with respect, unlike some other guys. And he looks over at Ross Chastain standing right next to him.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man, I don't know if Kyle's just so fed up with everything going on that he just doesn't have it in him.
Well, I'll tell you what, James, I'm looking at YouTube right now here, and there's a video 6 hours ago from the iceberg, and I don't know, I haven't watched the video. I don't know anything about it. I don't know where he's coming from, but the headline simply is Kyle Busch going back to Joe Gibbs Racing?
He can't. He can't.
Right?
Because RCR has an option on him. I don't think he's allowed to. Well, from what Candace Spencer said,
he's
not allowed to.
All contracts can be broken.
That's true.
You don't want somebody there if they don't want to be there. I mean, we had an extra year on Tyler Reddick, and he didn't stay.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Contracts are made to be broken. I'm not gonna argue with you on that one.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
did we see Kyle Busch going there in the first place? No.
not to RCR, no.
Right. So
You know, I mean, if Truex retires,
yeah,
you
could
move
be.
Kyle over.
Speaking of Truex, he had a nice last lap too.
He's excited.
Did he?
Yeah.
He crossed the line because I show him as 110 laps completed
finish
on the sheet. So
yeah, he kept hitting the ignition and the starting system, and it kept lurching the car forward. So every time he hit it, it would lurch the car forward. So the crowd was erupting as he limped across the line, because he would have ended up.
Would you consider that an assist? I mean, is that the same as somebody pushing your car? I mean,
he got out there under his own power. The car powered itself across the line.
I guess if the battery's got enough power, hey, first electric NASCAR to finish.
Yeah, first electric. Yeah, all electric car finishes the race. That's the storyline. We missed out on that. Yeah, that was, man. Yeah, the video of the crowd and then the PA announcer screaming like he's that's a good video.
SMI's got good announcers, man. They do a great job at the track of pumping the crowd up.
And he was I watched Radioactive today too, and he was yelling at James Small and the crew about something.
Oh man.
Classic Martin Truex Jr.
The way he's going this year, I wouldn't be surprised to see him retire.
He's been grumpy for a while, but it's not like he's having a bad year. He just, that one got away from him. That was a top 3 finish that snuck away from him too. So yeah, what are you gonna do? Runs out of gas. 2 weeks in a row we've had a top 3 car run out of gas last lap.
Ross Chastain, aided by moving Kyle Busch out of the way, finishes top 5, 5th place finish for him. AJ Allmendinger, strong performance, 6th place finish, as you'd expect on a road course.
Yep.
Other drivers that stand out, Todd Gilliland finishes 10th. Corey LaJoie, 11th. Kyle Busch gets 12th despite running out of gas and getting wrecked on the last lap. Zane Smith finally has a top 20 day, finishes 16th.
Yep.
I don't know, anything else jump out at you on here worth discussing?
No, I mean, there was a lot of strategy going on pretty much all day with the stage finishes and things like that. Guys come and go, but no, I think those are the main takeaways.
How about Will Brown? He had a good day until he had electrical issues. Finishes 35th.
Yeah, he had issues.
Or 31st. Sorry.
He had issues, I think, all week. Yeah, he had issues all weekend.
Yeah.
And Cam Waters was around, but would have liked to have seen those guys have more competitive seats this weekend.
Yeah.
Like to see what they could do a little bit more, but
Will Brown ran pretty good in an RCR car, so
yeah. Oh yeah. He had speed. He was, I think, at one point he was top 7 in practice, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
He kind of flexed some muscle a little bit. I wouldn't be shocked if he's back in that car again a couple more times now.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Worth noting again too that Michael McDowell got a 2nd place finish after wrecking. I mean, he was in the tire barriers, so.
He was, yeah. Yep.
So good. I mean, obviously, again, one of those guys that we expect to run well on road courses, but he certainly proved himself there. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
There you go. Anything else? The Cup Series, James?
Oh, I'm sad to see Sonoma go.
Me too.
But that's okay.
At least it's one. At least it's one California track that we'll be back to next year.
Eric, I had one little nugget for you.
Yeah.
As I like to do it every once in a while. Kyle Larson has achieved his 26th career Cup Series win.
He ties with somebody, doesn't he?
He ties with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yes, I saw that stat. It's a good one.
Oh boy. Junior Nation getting a little weepy-eyed.
26 victory and 346 Cup Series starts for Kyle Larson.
Oh, and he's our points leader, by the way.
Yeah, 14 points over Chase Elliott. That other guy that we said is having an okay year.
And one less start, by the way.
Yeah. Zane Smith, 16th, was our highest finishing rookie. Yeah, there you go. There's your Cup Series at Sonoma. NASCAR Xfinity Series in action the day before. Some guy named Shane Van Gisbergen gets in. Hold on. Some guy named
Shane Van Gisbergen.
There you go. Now that Michael Waltrip won't ever say that again because there's no more Xfinity races on Fox.
What a joy.
Yeah, Van Gisbergen back-to-back. First 2 wins back-to-back. I saw a stat. I don't remember. There's only a few drivers who've gotten their first 2 wins back-to-back in the Xfinity Series. It's pretty small list. and 32 laps led. Most dominating performance of anybody. Only 3 drivers led laps in this race. One of those other ones was Austin Hill, who
Oh boy.
yeah, they had a little. Well, Shane found his way through Austin Hill the easy way, let's say,
Yeah.
or the hard way. I don't know. Austin Hill got used up a little bit by Shane, and wasn't very happy about it, and learned to sort of shut his mouth on pit road after the race because he knew he was going to get blasted if he didn't. What's your thoughts on that whole get together?
That was so good, man. What a treat. What a treat. The burnout might be my favorite thing I've seen in a long time.
Well, my favorite picture is him doing the burnout with Austin Hill in front of him, sticking his middle finger out the window.
And yeah, I mean, that's glorious. I mean, that's the sports shot you dream of.
Yeah.
When you get something that good.
Followed him all the way around the track doing a burnout. How awesome is that?
I mean, he said he was just going to do a burnout for the fans that were in that section, but then he said he got told he was number 1 by Austin Hill, so he decided he was going to do burnouts all behind him the entire way around the track.
That's good stuff.
SVG fits in now.
Yeah. I love SVG. I've loved him since last year. I mean, he's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm coming around on the personality. Like, I see it now with the personality. Like, we know he can wheel it. I mean, you don't win your very first Cup start, don't matter where you're at. I mean, he can wheel it. That's not a hot take, but yeah, he's got, with these 2 wins, you can actually see the confidence on his face. Who
wins in a fight between Shane Van Gisbergen and Sheldon Creed? Austin Hill.
Austin Hill's a big guy, but we Americans, we can be a little soft.
I think Van Gisbergen's gonna have the moves.
Dude, he played rugby.
Yeah. Speaking of that
dude's tough.
That was a good kick. I mean, a couple feet short, but it was a good kick.
Oh yeah, he can kick it. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of pressure
tough.
there making that kick.
Yeah. Yeah, he's that burnout. We'll remember that forever. That was legendary. Absolutely legendary.
Ty Gibbs leads 26 laps in this race, and basically takes the Joey Logano strategy a day earlier, ends up in the back and in a wreck. Did
Freddie Kraft say he threw a hissy fit? Is that what
I've not watched any of the podcasts or listened to any podcasts this week yet. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure Freddie Kraft said he he thought Ty was okay. He didn't really have too much damage until he threw a big old hissy fit. So I'm like, he's like, well, he's done that before.
That's right, because he did that extra burnout is what happened.
And then he got hit.
Yeah,
a couple of times.
Yeah,
because he was spinning out and doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he held it wide open and got slammed by Chandler Smith, I believe. That's why Freddie said it, because Freddie was probably spotting for Chandler Smith.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Which is Ty's teammate in that race. Yeah. Yeah, Ty had a really good car. He was pretty much set to own the day. I felt I mean if he would have not done that, he would have been a better race between him and SVG. But
yeah, we say done that. I mean it wasn't his fault. The wreck wasn't his fault.
No, the wreck wasn't his fault. No.
And
just good clarification.
That blind spot there, that somebody we don't see wrecks there very often, but when we do, they're pileups because you don't know where to go. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Yep.
Anything
else?
else?
The Xfinity series back at Sonoma, by the way.
Yeah, I really do. Yeah. I'm good with it. I'm a fan of it. I think it's a good series to have there. I'm good with the Xfinity series. I mean, I'd rather see the Xfinity series on road courses than the Cup series because I think they race better.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the second time we've had Xfinity series cars out there ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. We used to have, I think they still do the K&N. Whatever it's called,
think so.
whatever the heck it's called now, but the West Series used to run out there too. But
right,
because we used to get a lot of like younger Cup guys out there racing those K&N races, or well, it's all ARCA now, but
right.
But yeah, it's I don't know, man. Sonoma just what a great racetrack. I hate to say it because it's probably I'll curse myself, but get the trucks out there again. But yeah, the trucks. Didn't the trucks come back for a year like recently and they haven't come back again?
I don't know. Probably something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking it up really quick. Yeah, they used to run in the 90s. Yeah, right here. Yeah, they ran 95 to 98, and then in 2022 they ran the Truck Series out there, and Kyle Busch won, and they never came back again. So I don't know. I don't know why that is, but
damn that Kyle Busch.
Yeah. Boris said, "Oh, there's a name. Yeah, he was in this race.
Yeah, he wrecked in practice and was super embarrassed about it.
Yeah, and the car looked even better after they had the backup out there with just the black decals on.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60 years old, man, out there getting after it.
Yeah.
Where'd he end up finishing? I gotta look at that again.
Boris said
20 something. Where is he? It's good to see him back out there.
There he is, 28th.
28th. Okay, so not the greatest day in the world.
79 laps. He finished on the lead lap. So
does anybody have a weirder cult following than Boris said?
No, well, I mean, I tell you what, half the Cup Series drivers have him to credit for their road racing ability.
Him and the footwork, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's trained a lot of them.
Ron Fellows and Max Pappas, those guys all.
Yep.
Yeah. Boris said, what an interesting career he's had. He hasn't raced. Oh, he raced. Well, he attempted to race last year, but yeah, he raced in 2021, so he's been hanging around a little bit.
Brandon Jones dead last again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He hit a ton too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Brandon Jones, poor guy.
Josh Williams got to celebrate in victory lane, but it was with Shane, his teammate.
Yeah.
Austin Green, 4th place finish. Another good run for him.
Yeah.
Sheldon Creed, another 2nd place finish. Keeps adding those up.
Why did AJ Allmendinger not have such a good day? I don't remember what happened to him.
I don't remember what happened with him either.
It should be a cakewalk for him.
Yeah, I don't think he was I just don't think he was in the conversation.
Yeah.
He finished 2nd in the first stage and then just nothing. So I can't remember.
That's a weird day for him.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There's your NASCAR Xfinity Series race. Again, 2nd win for Shane Van Gisbergen. 14 Xfinity Series starts. So that's a pretty good record he's got going so far.
3 wins and like 20 total starts in all 3 series or something like that.
First driver since Austin Cindric in 2019 to win his first 2 races in back-to-back events.
Oh, that's good.
In the Xfinity Series. Cole Custer's your points leader, 12 points over Austin Hill. Van Gisbergen, of course, is a rookie, so he was your highest finishing rookie with the 1st place finish.
Excellent.
There you go. There's Sonoma. Let's talk some news, James. And we haven't talked about charters enough this year. Let's talk about charters some more, right?
Charters and waivers. That's going to be the put $1 in the jar.
Yeah. So looks like negotiations are going really well, right?
No.
Not so much.
Steve O'Donnell said they were.
Yeah. Huh. Funny from his standpoint, they are, because NASCAR is going to race next year regardless of whether Hendrick or Penske or any of those guys are there, apparently. So here's some of the issues per the AP and Jenna Fryer and J-Ski, which is where I pulled it from. NASCAR is not willing to make charters permanent. That's one of the big sticking points right now for NASCAR. I saw Denny Hamlin tweet recently, permanent charters cost nothing. He's not exactly right about that because NASCAR doesn't know what they're going to make after 7 years. So I get NASCAR's side of the point too. But anyway, NASCAR is willing to limit it to 7 years with an option for another 7 after that. I can't remember if we talked about it on here or not, but one of the provisions, they want to limit teams to 3 charters, which would certainly throw some wrenches in some things, depending on plans for other teams. Also included, their last offer included a cost cap. The France family would be allowed to buy charters, and a provision would allow private equity firms to buy into charters as well. As you can imagine, these provisions were not met fondly by the owners, especially the RTA. And now there's concerns. I watched a video today. There's concerns about with the RTA of teams that aren't part of the RTA or smaller teams signing before the RTA teams do. And NASCAR is trying to get, teams like Front Row to sign up before the big teams do to try and create that extra leverage. NASCAR all along has said they want to negotiate with the teams, not with the RTA. I don't know. It's a mess, James. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not looking real good.
This is gonna drag into the off season. I
I
think.
hope not. If it goes in the off season,
I
there's a
know.
problem.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's looking that way.
There is a problem.
Yeah.
These charters are not like what for one. Why do we want the France family and private equity firms to buy in? Why do we want that?
Well, the only thing I can think of that I could see wanting a provision from the France family's aspect is, okay, let's say we make them permanent, then give them the option to buy them back. But that's a lot of money to buy back 40 or 38 charters or 36 charters or whatever we have.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen. That's the only thing I can think. I mean, Penske owns a team or multiple teams in the IndyCar series that he owns, but I don't think we need the France family owning a team, right? I mean,
no, we don't. No.
First of all, there's not enough charters as it is. I don't think it's a good idea for the France family to own a team. I don't like the private equity firms at all.
Yeah, that's not a good idea either.
It's just going to drive costs up. We don't need NASCAR to become Formula One.
No, and I don't understand why the teams can't operate as a franchise. They already do.
Right.
Like,
what about a cost cap? You in favor of cost cap?
I mean, I'm in favor of the theory behind it, but you can't control it.
That's the thing, and I don't know.
Really control it. You can't control it, and especially if you have a cost cap for teams with 4 teams, 3 teams. Teams are going to be funneling money. You think RCR is going to have, they're going to look at their cost cap and make sure it's balanced between their 2 cars because they're definitely not doing that right now.
I mean, it's just
8 cars getting all the top stuff at RCR. They ain't going to change their operating.
I feel like we've like put the reins on so tight as it is right now that we don't need to do more. It worries me to do more.
You think about like sports franchises too. The Detroit Red Wings aren't going to go away as a franchise because the NHL didn't sign a TV contract.
Right.
They're going to exist. Let the teams run the charter system for God's sakes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think NASCAR needs to.
Well, the other thing is apparently the teams want like 45% of the TV money, and they only get like 33% right now. So that's a big sticking point for NASCAR. They don't want to give up that much money. There were some other things too. I don't have them in front of me, but
well, let me ask you a question there, Eric.
Yeah.
Who's the show? Is NASCAR the show, or are the teams the show?
Well,
what do you think?
I don't know. Let's find out. Let's find out tomorrow night at Berlin Raceway and see how packed the stands are for Eric Jones and Carson Hocevar.
Yeah.
Without a NASCAR.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it's a NASCAR track, but it's not a NASCAR sanctioned race.
Well, remember, we were there for SRX.
Yeah.
That place was booming.
Yeah, but that place isn't booming like that for Kyle Busch. If he goes races there any other week, it's the series. So I don't know. That's a good question.
Let me ask it a different way then. Let's say Hendrick, Penske, Gibbs, they say, you know what, NASCAR, shove it. We're gonna boycott.
Yeah.
How the fans gonna react to the Daytona 500 when it rolls around?
I mean,
without the big teams.
I would assume that. I guess it depends on who the fans decide they're siding with. I mean, if they want to support NASCAR and say the teams are wrong, then they'll tune in anyway. Right. We know what happens when Chase Elliott isn't there because he's suspended. We lose ratings. Yes. So, but I don't know. It's hard because the drivers are big because they're NASCAR drivers. That's why they all want to race in the NASCAR Cup Series. That's right. Why Shane Van Gisbergen left the V8 Supercars to come over here and race in the NASCAR Cup
opportunity
Series.
Here. That's right.
You can become a star in the Cup Series. You can't become a star in the ARCA Series.
That's right.
Hell, you can't become a star like you can in the Cup Series in the IndyCar Series.
Yeah, that's right.
So you can win an Indy 500 and not be a star to the level of Cup Series drivers. So I don't know. It's really tough. I don't think. Let me put it this way, James. If the teams go away, if we lose the top drivers, NASCAR survives. But if NASCAR goes away, I don't know that those drivers do.
Yeah, where would they go?
I mean,
That's right.
NASCAR survived Dale Earnhardt's death.
That's right.
NASCAR survived Jeff Gordon retiring. They survived,
Dale
Tony
Jr.
Stewart retiring, Dale Jr. retiring. NASCAR will move on and will continue. Will they be the same level they are now? No, probably not. They'll drop, but they'll still be the top racing series in the country by a long shot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think NASCAR's got the foot to stand on here. I think they're in a better negotiating position than the teams are.
I'll say this too. IndyCar, the Indy split, right? Kart, that whole thing, that was so damaging to open wheel.
It still is.
Oh yeah, they're still playing. Yeah, and that was Eric Hollow. I mean, that was over almost. Yeah, that was 30 years ago.
Yeah,
now, right. They never recovered. F1 is just now recovering from what happened in the U.S. back at Indianapolis. What was that? What was that? 07, 05, somewhere around there, right? Where the teams boycotted the U.S. Grand Prix.
Yep.
F1 was dead in this country, and then Netflix came along and revamped it. But that was that was another 20-year-ish, devastation. I would hope that NASCAR and these teams can see
it's in the best interest of both sides to get a deal done.
Yes, somewhat of a deal. Get a deal. Maybe it's not perfect for either side, but can we get a?
It's not gonna be. That's the thing it's not gonna be perfect. That's why it's a compromise. There's gonna be both sides should leave the table happy and unhappy at the same time.
Well, and NASCAR's got to. I don't expect NASCAR to bend till they break, but they've got to keep giving these teams a little bit of a carrot to keep showing up.
Yeah.
I read Ryan McGee's piece today on Stuart Haas, and I mean, he says flat out in the piece that Tony Stewart has been saying for a while now that he's just become disenchanted with NASCAR ownership with the way things are run. And if you're chasing guys like that out, what's to say Michael Jordan doesn't get bored,
Yeah, the only thing I'd argue with that, though, James, is that Tony Stewart always sees something shiny and then gets bored with it.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you.
I do take things that Tony says with a grain of salt because he is the quote machine too. He knows
he'll play the political game.
He knows how to push the right buttons at the right time, and he's got nothing to gain at this point. He's leaving the sport, but he's going to get his shots in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he will on his way out, right?
But I get what you're saying, though. I don't disagree with you. There's a large grain of salt taken with things that Tony says.
And I also think too, we got to remember one other thing. We have new TV partners coming in, spending a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
All the TV partners spend a lot of money, but we specifically we have two brand new ones. You think Amazon's going to be very happy when they have a boycotted field and they don't have the stars? They don't have Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott at their race. I mean, that's a real possibility. And what is Amazon going to come back to NASCAR and say, "Hey, what are we paying you for?"
Right.
I can only imagine Amazon signs on for, obviously they sign on for the NASCAR product, but NASCAR, believe it or not, has started to build a little bit of star power that's been missing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got, we saw it with the double. Larson had a lot of attention on him, and it drove ratings like in the double figures, right? Double-digit percentage increases, which is awesome. These TV partners are going to want a piece of that. It's just like what's going on with the WNBA right now. NBC is not very happy because Caitlin Clark is not going to be on the Olympic team, and NBC has all of the women's basketball games, which is having a moment right now.
Right.
They want those eyeballs on women's basketball, and if Caitlin Clark doesn't show up, we're going to find out. Is it women's basketball that people are interested in, or is it this, like you were saying, Eric, about shiny things, right?
Yeah.
Is it the shiny thing that everybody's looking at right now? Because we've seen it a little bit with F1 as well. It's all finicky, right?
Yeah.
you can spin it any which way you want. But but it's worrisome to say the least.
It's better for both parties to have an agreement. The longer this drags out, the worse everybody looks, and less likely it is that everybody's going to be semi happy when they're done with it.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. If Hendrick and Penske, and Joe Gibbs leave NASCAR or boycott NASCAR, I don't know how NASCAR fills the field. It's not like in the old days where you can just run Xfinity cars with Cup cars like they did at Talladega.
That's right.
But that being said, if Joe Gibbs and Hendrick and Penske leave, where are they going to go?
Yeah.
I mean, Penske's got IndyCar, but there's a reason he's still in NASCAR.
Yep.
There's nowhere else to go.
Right.
So, I mean, that being said, Hendrick said a year ago that he doesn't make money, or Jeff Gordon said they don't make money on their NASCAR team. So, I guess they close up shop. They're not losing anything, right?
Yeah, in theory.
I mean, I'm sure when it comes to finances, there's a lot of write-offs that go through that NASCAR team, which is probably one of the reasons they have them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. It's all I know is that we should have a deal done by now. I mean, we should have a deal before this season started. We should have a deal done before TV contracts were signed, and we don't. And we're still.
Yeah, they did it. They did it backwards. They negotiated a little bit backwards.
Yeah.
The teams in NASCAR should be more partners than they are. That's the discouraging thing as well. There should be some sort of. It's almost like, I hate to keep comparing NASCAR to stick and ball sports because it's a different business model, but it's almost like the teams need a commissioner to fight on their behalf, instead of fighting as individuals, because that's what happens in like the NBA or the NFL. Like Roger Goodell, he's a punching bag, and he might be an idiot in some instances, but that dude fights for the team for all of the NFL team owners all the time, and and those guys win constantly.
Right.
They constantly win, and that's why you see Roger Goodell continue to get money, because the owners are happy. It's almost like we need a point person for NASCAR ownership instead of everybody being so segregated. Well, to go to NASCAR and say, hey, we got to figure this thing out. We got to get more streamlined, because NASCAR just doesn't have that.
The other problem too is that, when so much of this sport is sponsorship based, and sponsorships are harder to come by, NASCAR is competing with these teams for those same dollars. They're selling race sponsorships and series sponsorships. When Monster came in to sponsor the Cup Series, they reduced their sponsorship on cars. There were teams that didn't have the sponsorship they would have had because Monster went and sponsored the series. Yep. Now instead of one title sponsor, we've got 4 that are putting a ton of money into NASCAR and not necessarily into, into a sponsorship on a car.
I remember being at a tweet up once, and Bob Pockers said this, and I'll never forget it. He says NASCAR always finds a way to make the money.
Yeah.
Always finds a way to make the money. And this is no different. They're going to keep trying. So,
So I don't disagree with you. I think there needs to be more of a partnership there. It really is. I mean, they really both need to be working toward the same goal. And right now it's very, very different. And I understand, NASCAR did some things over the last couple of years that certainly made the teams think that they need more power as well. I mean, I know it was SMI that made the decision to change Atlanta, but there were a lot of teams upset about that. They didn't find out until it was already in the works. There's things like that have happened. There's changes that have been made that they haven't had the say in that they want to have. I mean, look at the next gen car. We had so many issues that first year, and NASCAR was not very forthcoming about what the solutions were going to be, and we had drivers getting hurt.
Yep.
And that soured relationships between the teams and the sanctioning body. So all those things have not been favors to NASCAR.
There's definitely not a. You can definitely feel, especially with how much Denny Hamlin talks, and I mean everybody really, but
Denny's another one like Tony Stewart that I'd take what he says with a grain of salt. But
of course, but you can feel the tension.
Oh yeah,
I mean it's like you can sense it. If you're like you and I are, and we're reading things on a daily basis, and watching every single race, and checking in on interviews and reading articles, like there's discontent amongst NASCAR ownership and NASCAR themselves, and NASCAR can't, they trot Steve O'Donnell out there and tell you everything's great, and even when he says that in the moment, you're like, okay, like we know it's not great, and then
right.
the news comes out, it's like, yeah, it's actually not great. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know, man. I need to see him figure it out. Let's get a little closer.
Yeah. I mean, we were hearing not too long ago that it sounded like it was going to be soon, and it sure don't sound like it's going to be soon.
Yeah. Well, soon. It depends on what your definition of soon is, but yeah, definitely not soon.
I guess so. Other news, a little bit lighter news. Kyle Busch, we say might be going back to Joe Gibbs. He might be racing another series before the end of the year.
Heck yeah.
Still looking at potentially running a V8 Supercars race at the end of their season.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I'd love to see one of our guys go over there and show them what we can do too, like Shane Van Gisbergen did to us.
Yeah, hopefully he wins in his first start.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, when Larson went over to IndyCar, everybody was like, wow, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that Kyle Busch is still that kind of guy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Go over there and at least show them, like, he may not win, but hey, man, he's fast.
Yeah.
These guys can drive. They're not just driving in circles all the time.
Yeah. Agree. Saturday, November 16th, week after the end of the NASCAR season, would be the race that he's expected to potentially run. So most likely opportunity for him.
Yep.
So there you go. Anything else, James, that we missed? I feel like there was another news item that I was thinking of that we haven't discussed, but I can't remember what it was. We didn't discuss
nothing off the top.
We didn't discuss that officially Front Row got their charter, right? That was after we went.
They got their, I don't think the papers are signed, but it sounds like they officially announced we're going with 3 cars next year.
Yeah. So we got that.
Yeah, that's happening.
I think that's about it right now.
You brought up the Kyle Busch thing. But other than that, things have been, I thought we were supposed to be getting the schedule soon.
Yeah.
But we don't have anything on it yet. So, we should probably note that NBC is taking over.
Yes.
I don't know if we want to talk about that during the preview of the race, but NBC is taking over.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Fox this year with Harvick? I was going to ask you about this.
I thought Harvick was definitely significantly better than I was expecting. Not that I was expecting him to be bad, I just wasn't expecting him to be as much of a high point. For the first time, I think, in many years, probably since Dale Jr. started doing NBC, I am actually disappointed that NBC's part of the season is over. Because I really liked Harvick and Fox, Mike Joy, and I liked the booth that we had for the Cup Series. And honestly, I mean, I liked Adam Alexander doing stuff. The Truck Series still, I love Jamie Little, but she's not booth material. So that's, and we still get that. So did you see who's going to be in the booth this weekend and replacing Dale Earnhardt Jr.? Yeah, I did. First of all, I hope they have tall ceilings in the booth at Iowa, because Brad Daugherty is not short. He is gigantic.
He's going to grunt and make noises.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm so disappointed that Junior's not there, and that we still have to listen to Jeff Burton yell. Yeah. I'm gonna struggle.
Lee Diffie is coming though.
Yes.
In the playoffs.
Lee Diffie will be great. I love Lee. I can't wait to have him on. Nothing against Rick Allen. I think Rick Allen's a great lower level series announcer, and I think it's a lot harder to do the Cup Series than we make it out like it is. I think he does a good job. But Lee Diffie, man, he can make paint drying sound exciting. And
he called Michigan years ago. He did a fantastic job. He's called a few NASCAR races before, but
yeah, he's going to be good stuff. I'm excited about Lee coming in. But I'll miss Junior. Definitely miss Junior in the booth.
Yeah, well, he'll be back next year. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll see
not
him,
as many races. I don't know. It's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, I know.
Very sad.
But he's building something over there at Amazon and TNT. So
yeah.
So we'll see.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
the other thing I think
go ahead.
what you were thinking of, Eric. Tonight was the last race hub.
Oh, I wasn't
Was
thinking
that?
about that, but that's
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's a bummer too. We talked
Yeah.
about it on here. I'm not a fan. I mean, I'm not a fan of the show. I just don't watch the show generally.
Yeah.
But anytime something like that goes away is disappointing. Anxious to see what NASCAR does. Hopefully they do something going forward, especially with the new partnerships.
Yeah.
Love to see
Fox's
something on
investment in
Amazon or something next
NASCAR,
year.
You know, I was thinking about Fox's investment in NASCAR, and the teardown did a good job kind of breaking this down just a little bit. But NASCAR with Fox shortened season next year. You've got no Xfinity series because that's going over to CW.
Yep.
And you don't have a studio show. So hopefully that new space that NASCAR has built can kind of help facilitate maybe some of that. I don't know, for somebody pick up something. But I wasn't a regular watcher of Race Hub, but it's kind of like late night TV where you pick it up on social media and
Right.
see what's going on.
Yeah, that's the thing.
kinda
Like
how I used
I've
to do it.
probably seen a lot more of Race Hub than I realize, because like you said, there's
Yep.
a lot of that is consumed. Like I haven't watched a late night TV show in forever, but I follow all of them on YouTube
yeah.
and I watch their monologues and I watch certain
Saturday
interviews.
Night Live.
Yeah,
Yep.
same thing.
Same
yeah,
thing. Yep.
all that. So, yeah, I'm sure Race Hub is probably very similar to that too. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that I see that I don't realize is Race Hub. So,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Oh, yeah.
again, even though I'm not the one watching it, just anybody, us losing any airtime for our sport sucks, you know?
Yep.
So, bummer
Yep.
for sure.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. I've changed the order around a little bit here, James. We're going to do our checkered flags and black flags short track corner before we preview the next weekend, just to kind of try and keep things together here. Any checkered flags for you this week?
Yes. I was gonna say, well, we talked about it a little bit, but I wanted to just shout out to Kevin Harvick and the work that he did this year.
Yeah.
Just kind of adding to our point, kind of a nice transition, but Mike Joy did an interview and said that it's Kevin Harvick's work ethic that rejuvenated him, and sounds like that is a positive. So hopefully, I know we kind of ended on the Fox thing on a little bit of a negative note, but hopefully moving forward, that's a really good thing for the sport.
That makes sense too, because I do feel like this was a better year for Mike. I felt like the last couple years he was kind of struggling a little bit, and it definitely seemed more himself this year.
Well, and without Jeff Gordon too, there was no consistency in the booth because you had Clint Boyer there with a special guest. And
yeah, the special guest just doesn't work.
Yeah, like Tony probably did the best job because he was there more often and had a relationship with Clint that they could kind of bounce some stuff off, and he had good insight. But Kevin Harvick being right out of the car, he brings really good stuff. Kind of made them more serious, which I liked.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
anyway, that was my checkered flag for the week.
I will give you that. It was a less goofy season.
Yes, yeah. Clint Boyer still did the goof stuff, but
he was kept in.
Not bad.
He's fine on his own.
Yeah.
Let him go a little bit. Let him be a little goofy. But for the most part, it was a much classier Fox broadcast this year. So I'll give you that.
Yes.
I'll give you that. I'll give you a checkered flag too.
Yeah, but they had a lot of problems. But
oh yeah,
but yeah, the Kevin Harvick portion was a great move by them.
Their problems were on the production side, not the booth.
Yes, of course. Yes. Yep.
Artie Kempner is the problem, not Mike Joy, Kevin Harvick, and Clint Boyer.
Didn't want to give him my checkered flag.
Yeah, no checkered flag for Artie Kempner. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Artie. Yep. I respect you a lot, man, but what you're doing over there, you're not here to win awards. You're here to broadcast a race well, and
please.
You sure get some cool shots, but we don't care about them. Anyway, way to be negative on checkered flags. My checkered flag, James. I think we've talked about this on here before, but I keep seeing it pop up. And I want to shout it out. I probably should have shouted. Well, I was off the week of the Monaco Grand Prix, so it was tough to do it then. But checkered flag to the miniature Wonderland out in Hamburg, Germany. I know you've seen the clips and stuff.
Oh yeah.
The mini Monaco Grand Prix that is probably 10 times better than the actual Monaco Grand Prix. If you haven't seen this, look up Miniature Wonderland Monaco on Instagram or wherever. It is I think it's a 1-to-1 scale, like a 1/64 scale version of the track.
Yep.
And the cars race on it. It's not a slot car. They race on a pre-programmed thing, and they run an actual race with pit stops and the start and all that stuff. It's freaking amazing. And I just wish that I was in Germany so I could go check this place out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
It is really neat. And they have all kinds of other really cool stuff there too. What triggered it today was I saw a clip. They have, so there's the Miniature Wonderland is this whole building of these different setups, different landscapes and stuff with these cars and trains and all that. And inside there, they have a scale of the scale replica of the building. And you can see through the roof of the building and see inside of the actual, it's just crazy. Just check them out. Miniature Wonderland. Very cool deal.
Barron's got work to do.
Yeah, right? No kidding. I mean, he's got to tie a fish string around his cars and drag them around the track to make them race. This thing's pre-programmed.
Yeah.
Come on, Steve. You fix your stuff up, man. You get time to upgrade.
It's upgrade. Yeah, upgrade time.
And I love that he'll hear that.
Yeah, he will. Yeah.
We'll be getting a tweet when he listens to this episode. It's great.
Yeah. Gosh dang it, guys. I spent enough time on this thing. Yeah.
Right. How about black flags, James? Any black flags for you this week?
Oh, man. I'm not going to do anything on Ross. I'll be nice because it made me laugh. It made me laugh. I was watching, I really did try, but I love the circuit, Villeneuve in Canada, but F1 just is so hard.
Did you see what they did?
Well, a few things, but yes.
Did you see the practice qualifying issue?
Yes.
It sounded like NASCAR Chicago all over again. The freaking police told them that the session was canceled, send a bunch of people away.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's always raining, and like even if you race online in F1, it's always raining in Canada, which I love that track because it reminds me of NASCAR. It's a great racetrack, regardless. But
that's my best track in F1 in the game.
Yeah, I love that track. It's probably my best track too.
That one and Red Bull Ring. I don't know, for some reason I'm really good at Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, Red Bull Ring's a good one too. Yeah. I just I don't know. I was just kind of disenchanted a little bit by the whole thing. I don't know. I want F1 to be a little bit better.
I don't even bother trying to watch them.
I know. I'm trying. Like, I try. But who has time?
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. I wish it was better. It was a better race. But I don't know. Max is actually slowing down a little bit. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe it'll get better.
There you go.
No, he won, but that's okay.
I want to watch more IndyCar races because I really love their season, and I've been so dang busy I haven't had a chance to watch them.
I don't think you missed anything in Detroit.
I watched the highlights of Detroit, and then they raced somewhere this weekend too.
New Garden took a ride this weekend. Big hit.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was a heck of a hit.
Yeah.
My black flag, James, is to myself. Because for the second time this season already, I forgot to pick my drivers.
I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, that's why I got finished 15th or whatever. I mean, not that it matters because I picked them the week before and I finished right around the same spot. But yeah, I forgot to pick my drivers this week. So
might be time to shut it down, Eric. It might.
Man, I'm back to like kind of normal right now. Again, the Memorial Cup stuff's done. I'm caught up on. I had a big photo project before that I had to finish. That's done. The JEGS CRA stuff we had a race on Sunday this week that screwed me up. But I don't think there's any more Sunday races now. So I think I'm good. This weekend's Father's Day. I should be able to watch Iowa and all that.
Oh man.
So I should be caught up this weekend.
I'm looking forward to Iowa.
I am too. Yeah. Well, we'll get there in a minute.
Yeah.
Run through short track corner here real quick. Mentioned JEGS CRA All-Star Tour. They had a race this weekend. It's the Spartan 100 at Corrigan Oil Speedway. Brandon Varney won his first JEGS CRA All-Star Tour race. Pretty cool. He was super excited. His brother was also in the race. His brother wrecked out, but he was parked in the infield and cheering on his brother throughout the race. It was pretty cool. Very excited. And he was the one who got to present Brandon with Evan Varney is his brother's name. Evan got to present Brandon with the trophy at the end of the race. So that was pretty neat. JEGS CRA All-Star Tour will next visit Flat Rock Speedway Saturday, June 22nd. The race will also include the ASA CRA Super Series as well. So big night there in Flat Rock. It'll be my first time at Flat Rock Speedway, so that's pretty cool. One of the ARCA-owned racetracks, along with Toledo Speedway. Tomorrow night, Money in the Bank 150 at Berlin Raceway. Drivers scheduled to compete. I think there's 38 signed up. They include Bubba Pollard, Eric Jones, and Carson Hocevar. among others. So those are your big names in the race, but there's several other regional, well-known regional names as well to be racing in that race. I'm still on the fence whether I'm going. I don't think I'm making the trip down there, but there could be a last-minute change tomorrow, and I might end up shooting down there. The weather looks good. The weather looks really good. So.
Well, we've had excellent weather here in Michigan the last couple of days. So.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was awesome. Sunday was great because it was actually chilly at the track. That was amazing. Yep. I still got sunburn though because you feel like you're good and you're in the sun and you burn.
Well, that happens.
Gotta love it.
Yep.
Iowa Speedway this weekend, James. We mentioned we get to go to a Frankenstein repaved racetrack. Lower grooves repaved, upper grooves not. I think it was the teardown they talked about. The reason they did that is because they only had so much time to do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I said, I didn't listen to the podcast, but I did see the clip. So, but we'll see what we get at Iowa this weekend. I will say both races sold out. The Cup Series, June 16th on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Late race for the Cup Series on Sunday. The Xfinity Series will have the Hy-Vee Perks 250 on Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Again, both races sold out, and I understand that I saw some people complaining online that apparently this is one of the few tracks on the schedule where the kids don't get in free for the Xfinity race on Saturday. So people were upset about that, but
jeez.
I mean, it's sold out, so what can you expect?
I mean, yeah, do.
But apparently some people bought tickets and then expected to show up with their kids, and now they're trying to sell their tickets because their kids can't get in. However, just for the record, I mean, Atlanta Speedway, we still had to get tickets for our kids. They just were free. So usually you still have to reserve seats. So you should have known when you purchased your tickets.
Well, just look it up. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. So
I
it's on you, but I'm sure it's sold out. You'll be able to sell your tickets to somebody. So
yeah, people buy them.
With that, we get to make our picks, James, and I get to pick first. I don't know where to look.
I know who I'm picking, unless you pick him.
No, I'm going to pick him because you're going to pick Joey Logano, so I'm going to pick Joey Logano. Joey Logano is my pick.
God.
Sorry.
Well, crap. I think you're actually going to do it. Well, great, then
if you wouldn't have said it, I would have forgotten. No, I remembered. I was
new places, man. Yeah. Joey Logano. No, give me. Actually, this is the one. Give me Ty Gibbs.
That's a good one.
Give me Ty Gibbs this time.
Ty Gibbs hasn't raced here, right? No, he wouldn't have raced here.
Not in the. Yeah.
Trying to think, because there are a lot of drivers. This is a unique track because it's the first time in the Cup Series, but there's a lot of drivers in the field who have raced here.
Brad's raced here. Kyle's raced here. Ricky Stenhouse has famously raced here.
Yeah.
That was the Carl Edwards plowing into him.
Yeah.
Race. Gosh, that
was Ricky. Was that Ricky's first win too?
It might have been. He blew the motor out of turn 4 and Carl got in his oil, and it was on. I'm trying to see if Ty's raced here in the Xfinity Series at all.
He wouldn't have because they haven't been racing there in the last. Yeah, they haven't raced there since COVID.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, no Iowa for him. So yeah, no Ty Gibbs. But I'll take him. Short track racing. Let's go. Ty Gibbs.
I'm looking right now at Cup drivers here that have raced. Josh Berry's raced here.
Oh, interesting. Well, he's raced. Oh, he might be a good pick too.
Josh Berry's I would have picked Josh. I might have picked Josh Berry. So Josh Berry, William Byron, Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain has 8 races here.
Wow.
Austin Dillon has 6 races here. Chase Elliott has raced 4 times. Noah Gregson's raced here twice.
Well, that makes sense.
Daniel Hemrick's raced here 4 times. Tyler Reddick's raced here 6 times. Ryan Preece has raced here 3 times. Bubba Wallace has raced here 6 times.
Oh, that makes sense too. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I know there's got to be. I don't. That's all that's shown on this list, but there's got to be more than that have raced here.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if I can find that racer.
Really quick. I wonder, has Kyle Busch raced here?
I'm sure he has, yeah.
But it's always been on the same weekend as a Cup race somewhere else, so he probably hasn't. Remember, this was a standalone weekend, so
Kyle Busch has a win here.
Okay,
so 2010, yeah. Kyle, Ricky Stenhouse, Brad, Chris Buescher. Hold on. Let's take a look at the win totals. This is entertaining podcasting. William Byron has a win here. Ryan Preece has a win here.
Why does Kyle Busch not show up on this list?
Who else is on here? Yeah, you're right. Josh Berry's got a couple starts. Ross has 8 starts.
Yeah.
Austin Dillon 6. Noah Gragson 2. Kaz Gralla, Daniel Hemrick, a few of those guys out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be an interesting race this weekend. That's for sure. I'm excited about it. I've been looking forward to the Cup Series coming to this track since they built it. So
yeah, you've wanted this one for a while.
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping it's significantly better than Richmond. Because it's similar to Richmond, it's just bigger. So, but I mean, it races more like a mile and a half than a short track.
The new pavement and the way they paved it too is going to make it interesting.
Yeah, it's going to make it one groove probably.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't want to talk about it, but how'd Fantasy League go this week, James?
Oh God. Well, Green Eggs and Hamlin won. Jeff Gordon for GOAT second, and Shut Up Roger was third. I was 7th, and Eric, as you mentioned, you were 15th. And I lost my battle to Watermelon James again by a measly 3 points, 4 points.
That makes it all worth it for me.
Every week I lose by like 3 or 4 points to that guy. So I'm losing.
When he passes you by the end of the season, I'm gonna love it.
He's not going to. I'm okay. I'll be okay. Smoking Grill Racing is still our points leader. Team Justin second. Cole Custer is third. Rangers in the mix. Grand Eggs and Hamlin, our winner. He's 5th. I'm 6th. I mean, that's where I've been all year. 6th to 8th. Eric is 9th. One spot
slowly
behind defending
falling
champion.
back.
One spot behind defending champ Barron Speedway.
Barron Speedway used all his luck up last year.
I think he did. Yeah. I'm less than 200 points behind first place. I feel like I'm not that far out of this thing yet. Our points lead, by the way, is 1 point. Smoking Grill Racing, 3103. Team Justin, 3102. Yeah, we got a battle this year. This is not over by any means. So
I'm in a rough spot because like I'm running out of good drivers too already. Like not terribly, but it's getting low.
Yeah.
And I haven't had good races to show for using them. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's a bad every year. I think it couldn't get worse, and it's really bad this year.
Yeah. You're falling asleep at the wheel, man. Got to finish strong.
Something.
Bring it home.
Well, James, where can people find you on social media if they want to hit you up during the week?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/TheSuperspeedway. Reminded myself a couple weeks ago when James had to take over the show that he does have access to the Super Speedway Facebook page and has access to the Super Speedway website. So
I can do it if I have to.
He can do it.
Must.
Speaking of that, thesuperspeedway.com is our website. You can find show notes, links to articles we discuss, all kinds of stuff there. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Wherever you found us today, please subscribe for new episodes each and every week. And if you go to anchor.fm/thesuperspeedway, you can leave us an audio message, and we might just play it on the show. Iowa Speedway this weekend, the NASCAR Cup Series and NASCAR Xfinity Series in action. The Truck Series still on vacation. They'll be back at the end of the month to continue racing once again. Cup Series for the first time in Iowa, back in the Midwest. We'll be back next week to break it all down and discuss it all with you. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.